Plus. Welcome to Cellmates.
30 Days of Plus.
This is a daily,
Unpaid.
month-long
Exploration.
Of.
A bunch.
Of.
Things.
On.
Disney.
Plus.
I'm.
Kate Phillips.
No, I'm Dick Ward.
And
You're
my
Kate
co-host
Phillips.
is...
Hey, friends.
Hi, Dick Ward.
Hey, Kate Phillips.
Welcome to...
I guess like 3 episodes ago, you kept saying my name.
Yeah.
In order to get me to say your name
Yeah.
back. It did not work.
No.
We have been laughing about it since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard when you're doing 30 episodes in a row. But Dick, we're at 29.
Oh,
One might call this the penultimate episode.
Isn't penultimate like after the last one?
No.
It's before the last one?
The one before the last one.
Whoa.
Thanks, Dr. Brown, high school choir director, for teaching me that word.
Thanks, Dr. Brown.
Yep.
Kate's high school choir director.
Yeah. So, as for the penultimate episode...
Wait, Doc Brown?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did he love that?
I think he's dressed up as him once.
Good.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if he loves it or just accepts it as a
Fair.
fact. Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
So we have looked at a lot of things this month. A lot of things.
That was a good sentence.
Well, so we have. We've looked at things animated.
I looked at a stop sign earlier.
We've looked at live action.
At some bread.
We've looked at hybrids. We've looked at movies, TV shows, documentaries, shorts. But we wanted to kind of get back to basics for this last stretch of the tunnel before there is light. So we watched, so it actually combines a lot of that.
Yeah, it's...
to be fair.
It is a combination of a couple of things that we are excited about.
So, Dick, what did we watch for day 29 here? Tell us more.
Soup.
And or read the description that's up.
We watched Soup. So we watched what is billed on Disney Plus as the Plausible Impossible. Mm-hmm. And it's got like its own little font and logo. So we thought it was like its own kind of documentary. Mm-hmm. What it actually is it's an episode of Disneyland.
Right.
Which was very confusing at the beginning.
Which is the precursor to the Wonderful World of Disney,
which is a precursor to the Magic World of Disney.
Basically, they're these Sunday night specials that feature Walt talking about something he's excited about.
Yeah, and this was like on ABC, and I think it was like to help promote Disneyland.
Yes, it was, yeah.
So like even as we're watching this, it's like, each week on Disneyland, you'll go to one of Disneyland's amazing places and learn a new thing.
Frontierland, Adventureland, Fantasyland.
Yeah, Adventureland seems like it's countries outside of the U.S., like learn about those. This was, I think, Fantasyland.
This was, billed as Fantasyland. So at the time, Disneyland had 4 sections.
It did not yet have Bear Country USA.
Because Disneyland is kind of like the Magic Kingdom, if you're more familiar with it. Orlando, so it's Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, Adventureland, and Frontierland.
Yeah.
So I assume then other episodes like Tomorrowland would talk about some kind of technology that's coming out. Yeah. So this is an episode of that, but it's essentially breaking down some animation principles that the Walt Disney Company and many others use. Specifically, this concept they call the plausible impossible, which is making something that could never happen in real life appear realistic. And like, essentially, this is like the suspension of disbelief in theater, the same kind of thing, but with animation.
The first example, I think, is a really good example. Is it's just there's a cow, and when you pull its tail, an animated cow, yep. And when you pull its tail, its body like moves, it has kind of a droopy neck.
Yep.
When you pull its tail, its neck straightens and the bell around its neck rings.
Yeah.
That's not a thing that happens with real cows, but with an animated cow, I'm going to be honest, I kind of took it for granted. It's like, yeah, of course you can do that.
Yeah.
Of course, if you pull its tail, its neck will straighten out and the bell will ring.
Walt says that in the episode. Like, we take this for granted, but here it is. And yeah, and they do like a dotted line kind of diagram of like, here's where the spine would be. Mm-hmm. So this is how pulling on it does that inside the cow.
He's like, we're not doing things that are just completely impossible. We're taking something. And there's an improv phrase that this reminded me of, which is, if this is true, what else is true? So like, like even in that cow one, we got, okay, if it is true that I can pull on a cow's tail to straighten its neck and ring a bell, what else is true? Mm-hmm. And what else is true was I can pull it really hard and make the neck or make the bell spin around.
Yeah, and make the neck scrunch up.
I can scrunch up the cow, like. And that's kind of what it was. It reminded me of like an improv scene, except clearly planned out. But just like, okay, well, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna drop we're gonna make a pencil bonk Donald on the head. Mm-hmm. Well, we could also do that. We could
with a mallet, it would make a bigger sound. With an anvil, it would make a bigger. So it's not only talking about animation, but the sound effects too, and like. Everything involved in bringing two-dimensional characters to life. Yeah. Super cool to hear Walt Disney talk about it. Mm-hmm. You get a little like squash and stretch in there. I
was a little disappointed that we didn't get like the principles of animation,
right?
Which I thought is what this might be.
It's a principle of animation.
It is.
It's one chapter in Disney's The Art of Animation book. Not to be confused
book of the hotel?
With the hotel that we're staying at in February. Yes. So, all right, take us through just like a list. What else did we see here besides a cow getting pulled on its tail?
Well, we saw Walt Disney create a creature to torture.
He drew Donald onto a page just to mess with him.
Yeah.
It was great.
He drew Donald onto a page, and then he was like, oh, Donald, we're going to show people animation. Donald's like, okay. He's like, take off your hat. And Donald's like, you got it.
Bonks him a bunch of times.
Bonks him with a pencil, and Donald's like, rah. Yeah, great. Mm-hmm. And then, like, so I guess I should say, between the Walt segments are cartoon segments.
That demonstrate a long-form version of what he's talking about. Yeah. So we get a cartoons I didn't know existed, like Mickey's Through the Glass, or Through the Looking Glass, or Through the Mirror. Yeah. So it's like
Alice
Mickey in Wonderland. Yeah. He has a dream while he's reading Alice in Wonderland. But it shows the principle of here's how we make inanimate objects like chairs and tables come to life and have a personality based on their physical characteristics.
Was there any inanimate object that you recognized?
Oh, there sure was.
Which one was that?
Ottoman Dog.
Ottoman Dog.
Beauty and the Beast.
And
yeah, I mean, this is basically a precursor to both Alice in Wonderland and Beauty and the Beast in terms of inanimate objects moving.
And you said in Alice in Wonderland, I think there's an Ottoman Dog as well.
There might be. I might be getting it confused with that doorknob that just looks like it's from Beauty and the Beast. But anyway, there's crossover.
Yeah.
So we had segments like that. We had a Donald segment that showed just like a lot of things that he had talked about so far, which was cool.
I really enjoyed that segment.
We got a deleted scene from Snow White, an unfinished scene that they cut for time.
How they got the soup out of, or how they got the soap out of Dopey.
Yeah.
But like he kept showing the deleted scene like it was 20 pages.
Right, just like a flip book of 20 pages.
So it'd be like 5 seconds of Doc eating soup or Happy eating soup. I forget which one.
We're like, okay, Walt,
this is not a deleted scene.
But then there was like a 5-minute scene from Snow White that's just the pencil sketches. So not only do you see some of these animation principles, but you see like an extra song from Snow White that's not in there. You see I've watched pencil tests, but the way he broke it down here made it make more sense that the background is static behind it, and then there's a separate sheet over it, like a tracing paper sheet. Yeah. And I've seen this before, and I've seen pencil sketches before, but for some reason I never really put it together.
It was really cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. To see the layers and like what moves and what doesn't move in a particular couple second
never
arc.
Realized that was I don't know, like the pencil background I never kind of I don't know.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It's these things that
really
we
cool.
take for granted.
Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah, well someone drew that. But of course you're not going to redraw the background every time. And it's a testament to how much life the caliber of artists at Disney put into the animation that you're not really noticing the technique because you're just watching the story and the characters.
And similar things that like we take for granted. He's like, well, when Mickey goes up the elevator, he squashes a little bit. When the elevator stops, he stretches. And I was like,
because of the feeling that you have when you're in an elevator, they're just exaggerating it.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
But it's also like, every cartoon does. Oh, that's why. So it's really, really a fun watch.
And then we get to finish with the full sequence Night on Bald Mountain from Fantasia. But before that, he talks about how music can influence a scene. And he puts the same Mussorgsky piece that they used in that Fantasia scene over Mickey's Sorcerer Apprentice scene.
Yeah.
They put it over the forest fire from Bambi. Do they do one other?
They do the dinosaur fight.
Yeah, also in Fantasia. And like the clip they use for each one of them works perfectly with the music in a way that like it was messing with my head. I'm like, is this not the music in Bambi?
Yeah, and I know Walt knows and loves classical music, but just even hearing him talk about it, like he got a little extra excited. He's like, this Mussorgsky piece, it's mainly carried by the trombones, but it's like, oh, Walt, you're really into this.
Yeah.
That's neat.
And it was a cool visual effect that they had the actual sheet music kind of like glowing
and like
in a layer over the Bambi scene or the Mickey scene.
So cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah. Would you say that were there any surprises for you?
Let's see. Were there any surprises? Yeah, I wasn't expecting as much nudity as we I guess I just haven't watched Night on Bald Mountain or Fantasia in a while.
But even if we had, that was a movie for theaters.
Yeah.
This was a TV show.
Yeah.
This is on ABC.
It's
there were boobs.
I guess if they're like ghost boobs, they don't count, or like witch spirit boobs.
After the Super Bowl thing with Janet Jackson, The Simpsons couldn't show butt cracks anymore. Walt Disney's just got like
demon boobs
on 50s TV.
Yeah.
What happened to our society? We can't have cartoon demon boobs anymore. Come on.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Yeah.
I guess not much else.
Would you
I guess it surprised me a little bit. Not that much. I've seen Walt Disney host things. People make fun. I just a stray observation that like if you're in Disney loving circles, Michael Eisner, the creative chair from like the 80s and 90s, you either love him or hate him or both. But he kind of took over. He did a thing like Walt on Sunday evenings. It was mostly introducing movies, but sometimes other things. And he is largely made fun of for his lack of MC abilities and like his stiffness when interacting with animated or mascot characters.
And specifically the way he says, hello?
Yeah. But like Walt Disney is better, but like just by a few clicks.
Yeah, also
like he's not an actor.
No.
He just is really excited about what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And I think maybe knows a little bit more on the ground than maybe Eisner did when he's explaining things. But
he's your uncle who's excited about something.
Yeah.
And is telling you about it methodically and slowly so that you'll understand it.
Yeah. And he does a great job.
Yeah.
But it is funny that like, well, he's not that much better than Eisner.
No,
like you could find someone more charismatic to host this special.
Or
but
better at reading cue cards.
Yeah.
Like Walt's fine.
Yeah. He's fine.
But he's got his famous Southern accent, as we all know from watching Tom Hanks do a Southern accent for
a
Walt
Chicago-born, Missouri-bred.
Yeah. I would have liked to see Walt with a DeBears style Chicago accent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad for you, I guess.
Well, not yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Is there anything you would pair it with?
Before we talk about pairing,
Yeah.
I do want to talk real quick about the very end of this.
Okay.
Where we get a preview of next week's episode.
Oh, that's a good idea. We should talk about that.
Because first off, the Mid-Atlantic announcer voice comes on.
Next week on
Disneyland. Walt Disneyland. Yeah. Oh, that is an accent that needs to come back. But you've got that announcer voice comes on and he says, here's a peek at what we're going to do next week.
Next week we're going to Adventureland.
And we're going to explore American Samoa. Mm-hmm. I think he just calls it Samoa. Yeah. I don't know if it's American.
It might not
Samoa.
be American
yet. Is this
yet.
before Hawaii's a state?
Is that 47, 51? It's new.
Yeah.
If it's a state.
So Hawaii is like a new thing.
Yeah.
So Samoa is...
they call it a Pacific island.
It's a Pacific island.
Which it is.
And we're exploring it. And it's
like they call it Cameras on Samoa is the segment that they're going to show next week.
Which Samoa doesn't have like a TV studio. You know, it is Cameras on Samoa.
Yeah.
But it's a problem the way it's presented.
It is less of a problem than I thought it was going to be for a 1956 like sneak peek. I mean, we'll have to see the special itself, but for the sneak peek at least, they only said simple joys and idyllic life only a couple times.
Yeah. In fairness, the simple joy they were showing was kids sliding down a river.
Like a waterfall, but
that's pretty simple.
But here's the thing: it's the contrast for me, because then the other segment that they're going to show you next week is they go to Amsterdam, and they talk about Amsterdam,
the industrious
in terms of industriousness and man versus nature, and they show kids skating on an ice rink, and they don't call it a simple joy.
Well,
they're like this ingenious way joy. They skate like. It's like, oh, you mean now we're going to see some white people.
Yeah, it's a thing.
And it was especially the contrast with like the Samoa thing. I'm like, all right, I was expecting worse. And then you go to the Netherlands and you're like, oh, yeah, this is like I'm expecting the racism watchdog to ruff, 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 ruff.
Yeah,
some dog whistling there.
So yeah, it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be. But it didn't look great. That being said, I'm still interested in. I want more episodes of Disneyland and the Wonderful World of Disney and that stuff to be on here.
Yeah, and I wonder if they are. Like, I wonder if there are other at least select ones, because I haven't seen that you can just click on Disneyland or the Wonderful World yet.
Right. And this is just called the Plausible Impossible.
Right. Like, it's not called Disneyland : the Plausible. So we'll have we don't know when we'll find it because the search mechanism on Disney Plus is not good yet.
It's not the best.
It's not good.
We get some like doubles when we search for things.
Yeah. Well, there are doubles just listed on the main screen.
Yeah.
They've got some glitches to work out.
You know, I'm a pretty good programmer. And,
unless it's a feature.
They didn't.
And I should be seeing Coco 2 times in a row.
I'm just saying, if they had hired me, I applied. If they had hired me, we'd have worked these kinks out.
All of them. I'm sure your main priority would be fixing things that we notice on our couch.
Absolutely.
And there aren't any more important things to fix or work on.
Nothing else to worry about.
At Disney Plus.
Just the stuff that I noticed on the couch.
Well, they did fix the blue people. That was a day 1 through like 3 thing.
Yeah, where stuff was just blue for some reason.
Or not blue. Except Avatar. That was like, crazy. There was some kind of like negative image color
so much
thing.
Cooler.
Yeah, the people were orange instead of blue.
Avatar looked awesome.
It was really cool. But the Simpsons were blue.
Yeah.
That was a fun day. I'm sad it's still not
was
a thing.
The football field purple?
One time growing up.
Yes.
Our TV broke. And the reason that 3 out of 4 members in my household knew that the TV broke was we couldn't see greens anymore. There were no more greens. It was one of those, it was like from the age of TV where if you stare at it like really close up, you just see red and green and blue. Mm-hmm. I don't know what those are called, but that's the way I'm going to describe that technology.
Perfect. That's exactly
up close red in your eye. And you could get like a static shock from the screen.
So we call that a CRT, or cathode ray tube.
Anyway, no more greens. So it was like slightly noticeable on various programs. We're like, oh, this coloring seems a little bit off. It was really noticeable when my dad was watching a football game and the field was purple. We're like, Mom, this TV, like, look, like we've been trying to explain it to her for a week. Like, look, this is broken. This field is purple. She's like, well, maybe it's just a purple field. I'm like, that's not a thing. Like, one, maybe you could get away with that if one of these teams was Northwestern, but
or
it's
the
like
Vikings,
the Bears, and another team that doesn't involve purple.
Well, if it was
and
the Bears
whole
and the
field
Patriots, the Bears are red and the Patriots are blue. So
maybe they combined it. We're like, Mom, football fields aren't purple. Guys, football fields are green.
Water's blue.
So then we got a new TV.
Nice.
Anyway,
cool. Hey,
pairing.
What would you pair this with?
Pairings. So okay, I'm gonna pair it with the thing that I thought this was. I was very joyful to watch this. But when I saw, so Donald is in the thumbnail of this,
so
and
great.
I thought it was a special that I had seen at some point where Donald and I thought it was on Animation Principles. What I remember mostly is Donald is playing billiards. And he's learning how to craft a perfect billiards shot from the angles. He's
learning angles, yeah.
He's learning angles and that's what I thought this was. In retrospect, that's not really an animation principle so much as a billiards principle.
Yeah, it's we're going to investigate the animation principle of angles.
Well, but it is if you're ricochet, you need to know physics for angles. That was great.
We're going to
your regular Tom Hanks over here.
Investigate the animation principles here.
So what I'm going to recommend is the actual thing is called Donald in Math Magic Land. Math Magic, one word. And it is an educational 27-minute thing of Donald And now that I've read about it more, it makes sense because he looks at Pythagorean theorem and instruments, when you double the length of an instrument string, how it changes the pitch.
It gets lower.
Yeah, there's octaves and there's whole principles involved, and it was super cool. I remember watching it, and I guess it was used in schools for years and years. But I don't see it on here because you've just typed in math.
I just typed in math.
And we've got Going to the Mat. We've got Garfield the movie. Treasure Planet.
Yep.
Peter Pan Return to Neverland.
Well,
none of these things actually say math.
In fairness, Santa Paws 2, the Santa Pups, does have quite a bit of math in it. Monsters University could teach math. Yeah, this search.
is...
Oh, you know what it is? Is there's someone named Matthew in all of these movies.
Oh, that's what it is.
Uh-huh.
There we go. We've got the algorithm.
Yep. We figured
Bill
you
Matthew
out.
Murray is Garfield. Well, Dick, I don't know.
Steven Tobel Mathlowski.
This is weird. We don't know how the search feature works on Disney Plus.
We were wrong. There's no Matthew in Garfield.
Turns
out
it takes more than 29 days to figure out how Disney search algorithm goes.
Yeah, we don't have it yet.
Dick, would you pair anything with this Plausible Impossible?
Yes.
What would you pair?
Oh, didn't think you'd have a follow-up. What would I pair with this? I would pair watching Walt ride a train.
Sure. I mean, that pairs well with anything.
Yeah.
He's so excited.
Yeah.
Dick.
That's all I got.
Did you know?
I might pair. Disneyland through the seasons, Disneyland around the seasons, which...
the description is just Walt Disney talks about Disneyland in 1966.
That is what the description is.
And then it says, see details for advisory.
It contains
it aired 3 days after his death. Oh, no. Okay.
Contains tobacco depictions.
And outdated cultural depictions.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, well, I guess we're going to watch this and Dick's going to cry for a while. Yeah. So we should probably go.
Oh.
We are Cellmates Podcast on Twitter, Facebook,
Wait, Kate,
at gmail.com.
Did you
regular.com.
Did you know? Oh, you were starting something with that.
One day more. Another day, another Disney Plus. This never-ending road of Disney Plus. Oh!
Thank you.
These men who seem to know our crimes will... Oh.
Is it clear that we planned this out?
Very planned.
We did
just
not.
like all of our research on this show.
Yeah.
Hey, friends, thanks for listening to day 29.
Man.
If you've been along with us for this whole ride, thanks for listening
Give
to
yourself
29
a pat
days.
on the back, unless you can't.
Got one more.
Unless you can't do that. Oh, no, that's pretty doable.
Give yourself a tap on the nose.
Yeah,
otherwise.
give yourself a pat on the back or a tap on the nose or something.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Land.
I'm a little bit sad. Not really. I'm going to get a lot of time back in my life, but it's like a little bit
we're going to be able to get these microphones out of our living room until we have to record another episode, but they won't permanently exist in our living room
the way they have the past month.
Yeah, we'll live like normal people. We'll come home, we'll watch a thing, we'll talk about it, and it'll just be for us.
We won't have to find a picture.
Weird.
It'll be very strange.
All right.
Well, thanks, Dick Ward.
Thanks, Kate Phillips.
See you tomorrow.
True.
Plus.